everyone, and welcome back to Big OGGIE World. So today I'm flying solo. John's gone off to play golf with Neil. If you know our other channel, you'll know who Neil is, obviously. So I am going to make a simple cake for the weekend. It's Friday. The kids are obviously going to be home, and as I've always said, treats are easier and cheaper to make than they are to buy. So I'm going to make a tray bake, and it's very similar to something that we've done before. John will put a link in for you, but before now we've made something called a school cake, which if you know, you'll know, it was something that we had when we were young and at school, and it's basically a sponge with icing on the top and sprinkles. That's the school cake. We're making a variation called a Tottenham cake. Now, there are slight variations in the actual recipe, and I believe that it's called a Tottenham cake because of the colouring of it. So it's something to do with the football club. I know nothing at all about football, so if I got that wrong, don't come after me because I just don't know. But I think that that's why it's called Tottenham. Don't know. Anyway, the icing on this cake has some additional nice things in, and the topping, rather than just being plain sprinkles, I don't know if you can see that, it's got coconut on, desiccated coconut. Now, my kids love a school cake, but they're not keen on coconut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare the icing exactly how it is. There's some hidden fruit in this, so that's good. And then I'm going to literally do half of my cake with the coconut, because John and I love the coconut, and the other half I'm just going to put sprinkles on, and then the kids will eat it and they won't know any different. So, very simple recipe to get going. Sorry about the oven, but the oven needs to be heating up because it's a quick recipe to put together. You're going to need 160 fan, 180 if you don't have a fan, and I believe it's gas mark 4. Okay, so first thing you're going to need to do is get yourself a 20 by 30 tray bake tin. This one I think was from Lakeland, I'm not sure, maybe not. Grease it, butter it, whatever you do with it. I use cake release, it's just cheaper and easier. And then line it with greaseproof. So I've done that, that's all ready to go. As always, John will put all of the ingredients down below for you, so you don't need to worry about that. Okay, so as you would a traditional kind of sponge cake. So you're going to need to put your butter, quite a lot of butter, and it needs to be softened, okay, into either a stand mixer or you can use a hand mixer with your sugar and also your vanilla paste. If you don't have paste, you can use extract. Please don't use essence, it's not real, it's a manufactured chemical produced thing and you'll never get the best results with it. So in goes your vanilla paste, and we are literally going to beat this now until it's light and fluffy, probably 4 to 5 minutes. Don't rush it, this is what gives your cake that lovely bounce and great taste. So I'm going to whip this up and then I'll be back. I'm really sorry if you couldn't really see me in that first bit because I didn't have the lights on, so I've done that. Obviously, if you're using a stand mixer, make sure you scrape your bowl down a couple of times before you finish, because otherwise you'll just get nicely beaten stuff in the middle and the outsides won't be light and fluffy. So I've done it twice up to now. I'm going to give it another whirl now. Okay, so that's lovely now. Nice, it's actually almost white, where it's all like nice and aerated. So the next thing I'm going to do is scrape my bowl down again, and then we're going to start adding eggs, and we're adding 4 eggs, one at a time, and we're going to beat them well in between. And the beating is what's going to stop your mixture from splitting. Okay, the more you beat, the less likely there is of splitting. If your mixture does split, don't panic. You can add a little bit of flour and it will bring it back anyway. But just beat, beat, beat. That's the key here. So, 1 egg. My eggs are in. I'm going to scrape my mixture down again and beat it to make sure that it's fully combined all the way through. Okay, so we are done with that. The mix actually literally looks like whipped cream right now, which is beautiful. So there is your mix, looking like that. And the next thing you want to do, excuse me, is take a strong-ish spatula, so this isn't like a bendy one, and we're going to fold in the flour with the baking powder and the lemon zest. I'm going to put half in first of all, just to make it a little bit easier to get it going. So remember to fold, you go around the outside of the bowl, you cut through the middle, and then you turn it over. So sort of cut, stir and twist if you like. It's lovely, in goes the rest. And the last thing to go into there is your 4 tablespoons of milk. Make sure you fold it well because you don't want any pockets of just flour. That would be nasty. So the next thing is to get our mixture into our tin. There we go. And spread. Obviously making sure you get into the corners. Try and level it out as best you can. And there we are. There is our cake. Now that is going to go into the oven, as I said before, 160 fan, 180 knot fan, gas mark 4. And it's going in for 25 to 30 minutes. So obviously you know your ovens, keep an eye on it, you don't want it to burn. I've got a hot spot in my oven, so I will try and turn it halfway through. Just keep an eye. Check it after 25 and it may need another 5. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so my cake has taken 30 minutes and my little cakey skewer is now coming out completely clean. So the next thing we do with the cake is we leave it to cool in its tin for about 10 minutes, and then after that 10 minutes we can turn it out. it's come away lovely from the sides of the tin, so you can see that it's lovely and cooked. So I'm going to put that to one side, and then we're going to start sorting out the icing. So in the icing, you can add pink food colouring to get a really vibrant colour, which I will do, but some of the pink colour comes from raspberries. Now you can use raspberries or you can use blueberries, but I think if you use blueberries, obviously it's going to be a bit more purple. So you need 150 grams of fresh raspberries and 30 mils of fresh lemon juice. Now in the actual cake, you're using the zest of the lemon, and this is obviously the lemon juice. So 30 mils of lemon juice into a microwavable bowl. If you don't have a microwave, you can do this in a small saucepan over a low heat. Okay, so you're going to add your lemon juice to your raspberries. Sorry, I was wiping up. And then they're going to go into the microwave, and we're going to microwave them on full power. Now we're going to check them after 1 minute. Okay, so I think, looking at mine, this is really going to depend on how ripe your raspberries are. If they're very ripe, I think they're only going to need 1 minute. So I've checked mine after 30 seconds and they're already starting to break down. So what you need to do is check them every 30 seconds and mix them with a spoon until they start breaking up. Yeah, so mine have been in literally 1 minute and they're done. But mine were very ripe, so, and obviously the riper they are, the sweeter they are. So once you've microwaved them and mushed them, they're going to look like this. So once your raspberries are broken up, the next thing we're going to do is pass it through a fine sieve like this one, so that we get all of the juice and the loveliness from the raspberries, but we do not get the pips. So I'm going to do it over a jug. You can do it however you want. Pour it into your sieve. And then you can use a spatula or the back of a spoon or anything like that, and you're going to try and push as much of the liquid and the juices of the raspberries through, and obviously the sieve is going to catch all of the pips because we don't want pips in it. Now you can put this raspberry deliciousness to one side to cool completely, because you're going to wait for your cake to cool as well. So we're just waiting now for the cake to cool down so that we can do the final bits. So I'll be back when the cake is cool. So once your cake is cooled, take a large bowl with your icing sugar in and add your raspberry sauce, small amounts at a time, and mix it until you have a thick, spreadable icing. Now I'm not good with icing. I tend to have it either too thick or too thin, and I suspect this may still be a little bit too thin. But if I go any thicker, I'm going to have trouble getting it on there. So as you can see, it's gone pink because of the raspberries, but I'm going to add some pink food colouring also because I want to brighten it up a bit. So this is gel. So I'm going to put my cake now onto a flat chocolate board actually. Because otherwise the icing is going to run through my cooling rack. It's still runny enough to pour. And I'm not going to pour the whole lot on because because I think I've got quite a lot. I take a palette knife and spread it. Now what I'm not going to do is go absolutely right to the edges, because as I said, I think my icing is still a little bit runny. Those of you with a better skill set than me might be able to get the perfect consistency and be able to spread it all the way to the corners. And there we have it. Now, as I said, I had a lot of icing because I made a mistake at the beginning. So, 2 top tips. First of all, make sure that you sieve your icing sugar. So you have 300 grams of icing sugar, sieve it into a bowl before you add any liquid to it. Then with the sauce that you're going to add to it, add it a bit at a time and stir until you get to the right consistency. The recipe told me to empty the whole lot in, which I did, and then I ended up with a huge bowl of icing because I had to try and save it. Don't make my mistake. Add your food colouring if you want to. If you're quite happy with the pale pink that it comes out in the first place, that's absolutely fine. Now, the other thing that we discussed at the beginning is that a traditional Tottenham cake has got desiccated coconut as the topping. I said my children do not like coconut, so I'm going to go half and half. So I've got some sugar strands, and I'm literally going to do half sugar strands, and the other half I'm going to go traditional with a little bit of desiccated coconut. And there we have it. Yes, I've made a god-awful mess, but that is a traditional Tottenham cake. So I will take some pictures later when I have tidied it up and cut it into pieces, and it'll be on the end of this video. So thank you for sticking with me. Like I said, mistakes made, lessons learned. That's what this channel is all about. Nobody ever said that we were professional cooks. We're certainly not, but we do enjoy what we do. So if you've subscribed, great, thank you very much. If you haven't, please do. Please give us a thumbs up if you like this recipe. Let me know how you get on with it. It's a great recipe, just the icing at the end was a bit of a mix up, but hey, we live and learn. And we will see you all again really soon on Big OGGIE World. So bye for now, everyone.